Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Where the Children Play, titled FLATLINER. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. This is from their upcoming album. That upcoming album being titled The House That Death Built, which is scheduled for release in October. So if you like the track that we're going to listen to today, please do go check that out as well. We're going to listen through this track from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. I'm listening to it on YouTube because this is where I could find it. This might be available on the other digital streaming platforms by the time you see this video. I'll put links in the description, but let's go. Steps. Very cinematic. In a weird sense of triumph with those almost major minus triads in their mid-range. Or is it the guitar arpeggios on top? Vocals are well leveled. I mean, like, it's a very visceral vocal style there. I don't mind that at all. I think it's kind of dope. I like music in this genre. I like the intensity of it. There's a lot of beauty in some of those. The way that the guitar arpeggios in the earlier half are kind of cascading in with like the verse instrumental parts. But then we also have like the choir on top of this part and amongst the distorted guitars, bass, and double kicks. There is an interesting sort of textural juxtaposition there that I appreciate. And great emphasis on the hook line there. Just kind of lumbers along, heavy as hell. Ah, the sound of a hospital machine there, right?
Open the gates of hell. Devour me inside.
With the lighthouse there. Well, those 30 seconds are filthy. Allowing machine gun kicks to fade out. That was quite quick. Quite a quick finish there. I was wondering if it would fade out a little bit, but I'm assuming in the album we might be going into another track after this. It might sort of seg chronologically there. Sequence really smoothly. It's a great song. We've got lyrics to check through. I didn't comment too much on the lyrics because I want to sort of like go through them in a separate part and then we'll discuss the rest of the track in the conclusion. So don't know how visible they are for you guys watching this. I'm assuming that they are visible considering I can read them on the little screen I've got here. But starting off with jars on the table, flies in the air, it's very visceral off the bat. Like you can get a clear image of the kind of situation we're working with here. So it's great lyricism. Gun in the closet, bullet in my mouth. Wow. So we're really struggling with things in our situation. I look at the clock on the wall. One last breath, I see my kin fade away. Through my head, I see no light inside. What? FLATLINER. Glass on the floor, anger built within. My body can't take much more. Oh, okay. Stare into the grave beyond a hall of fire. My future succumbs upon this cross I bear every day. Submissive to my fate, I hear my fear atone. Open the gates of hell, devour me. And so, okay. We're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. I kind of figure I've got stuff worked out at this point. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Where the Children Play, titled FLATLINER. Now, what do I think this track is about? I think it's about someone who is basically wishing for death. The world that they live in, their habitation. I'm not sure if there was a literal person like a widow or like someone that like maybe they had someone they were trying to share their pain with and that person is no longer with them anymore, so they just are simply done and they don't want anything to do with existing. The song is all about their final moments before they hit the floor and I found dead at 4 o'clock. Maybe they're looking for some sort of salvation. They're going through the gates. They're wanting death to kind of the cold embrace to take them away. It's very kind of intense, heavy stuff. And this isn't going to be for everyone, but I don't think that's the point of music. I think music doesn't need to be generic in general. It can be created for the specific purpose, not, I suppose, for multiple purposes, not just for telling a story you want, but also to illustrate a sort of artwork. And I think that when you tell a story well, it gives extra weight to the music behind it. And I think that lends credence to the way we did our vocals. For a lot of this, there was vocal fry, the kind of shrieking and stuff akin to black metal, kind of like that really kind of extreme stuff. I adore it. I think it's great. We have really solid vocal technique there. We weren't struggling or overextending or over-projecting there. We seem like very, very aware of like what we wanted to accomplish with our vocal performance in this. I should note, while I remember, apparently vocals were done by Alex in this, instruments were done by Matt, and the producer was Lewin. They were also, the record label was Face Ripper Records, which is dope. You know, congratulations on that. That's awesome. I want to sort of like just comment that we did the vocals really well. I think that they were very appropriate for the genre. They reflected the intensity and sort of the depravity of the situation that we're in. It was well handled and well connected. I think the music itself, at like 5 minutes 06, this track is unrelenting. There are moments of quietness there where we have little bits of guitar, synth or whatever, but like a lot of it is like guitars and bass and drums. We have the footsteps at the start of it to kind of invoke a sense of, oh, what's happening here? Are we walking through the snow, etc.? Are we preparing for our final moments? But then just things come in and just there's this like the maniacal control of the percussion as well as the heaviness of those rhythm guitar parts, predominantly rhythm guitar. We had an interesting sort of arpeggiated guitar over top kind of thing, very pretty kind of resonance there, almost like the acceptance of our fate with sort of like ending ourselves or something that we were maybe even looking forward to in a weird way. But a lot of this was structurally revolving around having set verse and chorus packages or passages there with smooth transitions. We had a really good understanding of sometimes we needed to have things be half time and sometimes we needed things to be sort of normal or even double time, etc. There were rhythmic variations with the grooves and patterns there, which were dope. We were very comfortable with establishing minor and major harmonies with maybe some extensions occasionally, but like the theory and composition were there. The instrumental performances across the bar were pretty tight. And I suppose, I think that it was more like a journey and adventure we went on rather than like a systemic kind of like, hey, this is the hook line, this is the catchy part, this is the storytelling part. It seemed like everything was kind of intertwined in a way where you went from start till finish just feeling like, it was a journey. I think that I talk about a few of my instruments that I really appreciated from this. I thought the drum parts, again, were spectacular. They had a great control of the kicks, the snares, the tom patterns, the cymbals. There were blast beats, there were machine gun kicks in the later half there. Very eloquent. There was a great consistency with the playing as well there that you don't always get. It can be difficult to get those passages sounding smooth, but we nailed it, I think, in a way that was nice and organic. And I think as well we understood when to allow space for some of the other elements, such as the bass and guitar, which was really cool as well. The bass parts were splendid. I appreciate the work we were doing in sense of like establishing a firmness of the low end there, coping with the harmonies there, whichever direction we went in with all the different sort of like chord shapes and choices there. We didn't really explore too much beyond the root notes there, but it was enough to have a low end there that really did kind of carry weight and sort of heed the call of the kicks and stuff alongside them with the side chaining and all that. The guitars were phenomenal. I really appreciate the diversity within the instrument itself showing through here. I think that there was some really lovely magical tones there in that mid to high range there, whether they were sort of like reverb delayed parts or like the arpeggios we had a little bit crispy on top of the power chords or whatever we had underneath it. We had several guitar layers there that filled out the frequency spectrum incredibly well there. I don't think we really needed many other instruments other than that. I mean, like, they harmonized really neatly with the choir parts that we had in those chorus sections there. I think we also had some strings at one point, if I'm not mistaken, which were a nice extra additional to the sides. But I think it's also just the animosity there with some of those flat second sort of note betweens there, like in the part where we had the heart monitor there. Is this someone actually, this could be someone being sick and waiting to die, is that it? Is that someone wanting to die because they're unwell? I've just realized that's potentially the flatliner part, right? But like a hospital patient, I'm not sure. But like moving on, I think that we clearly can play the instrument, but we decided to choose riffs and ideas that more illustrated the affectations of the story we were telling there. The flat seconds in some of those parts there were very tense and sort of like alongside the pulse of that machine there made you sort of feel a bit claustrophobic. I think that the ferocity of some parts in contrast to some of the slower bits where we kind of allowed things to sort of chug and kind of lumber along, there was just a lot of nuance there. Peaks and troughs, right, and dynamic range as well. Things were not the same loudness all the time. Sometimes we just take everything down to the low end. Sometimes it'd just kind of hover there. I like that we came down for the last vocal bit as well. I thought it had a great sense of kind of like humanity to it. I think like when you look at those various instruments we had and we sort of combine them and look at the overall theme of it, it not only pays tribute to what people assume is going to be within the genres involved and influences that are observed, but it also gives this band Where the Children Play a sense of identity now. When I've reviewed more than one of their tracks and I'm starting to get a feel to be able to predict and kind of understand what we're trying to try next. It seems like we're in a happy place with most of what we're doing, especially with this album coming up. And so it's exciting because even though this music is quite ferocious, there are some uncomfortable flat second parts. There's a lot of tense, kind of almost cripplingly heavy parts within this piece. Like that again, like just how the kick kind of cuts into the mix there. The choice of like just clashy intervals and it's really intense, especially with the vocals on top. But we're trying to illustrate what it's like to be in that position that the person telling the story is, and they nailed it. I think there was a really tight performance instrumentally. I don't think there was a note out of place. But I mean, it's just the studio recording, mixing, and mastering. I mean, at this point, they've got it. They've got it sussed. I mean, the vocals were nice and clear in the mix. They weren't overproduced. They were really stellar. The guitar, bass, drums, the synth sounds like the Foley as well as the stepping and footsteps at the start of the track were really good. And ultimately, it sounded like a commercial grade piece. There was enough dynamic range, things weren't the same loudness all the time, things were nice and wide in the stereo field there as well. It's surrounding you in the headphones, you're encapsulated by it. no word resonant frequencies in the frequency spectrum. It was well balanced, and that's just not from a post-production perspective, it's also from a compositional one. And when you get things in a high mids, like low mids and lows, and you kind of balance them like that, you got a really full sounding track when you want to. But they also deliberately cut things in the lows or the highs occasionally to sort of play with expectations and make it more exciting, and they succeeded. And I mean, effectively, it's nice to love that pumping to the bus compression, limit to his handled. I mean, this is my review of this track from an act named Where the Children Play, titled Flatliner. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show us some love via their various social medias and YouTube page. And stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.